Yo, 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 peace and riches blessings. It's your boy Burnell Washburn, aka Young Bernie Gold, in the place to be. Here with another quick episode of Creative Success. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Just wanted to share some quick vibration raising ideas with you guys. So I've been noticing a lot of people, including myself, but I'm getting better at it. A lot of us talk about what we don't want rather than what we're grateful for. And we talk about our hardships and our struggles more than our blessings. I was kind of just observing. I was at a show the other night and I was observing people's conversations and not judging, I'm just observing them and just kind of noticing, wow, the majority of these people aren't like coming up to each other and like, dude, I just had this happen, or I just got a raise at work, or I just, they're talking about, my fucking job sucks, or I need to find, I'm not really liking my house, I'm trying to get into a new spot, or da-da-da, and like they're kind of just like going off about their struggles, or this happened to me, or my fucking car broke down, I had to pay for this, and like they're just kind of like constantly reinfecting themselves with negativity from situations and circumstances that's happened in their life. And I'm not saying we should bottle our emotions and like never express them and vent them out, but I am saying we should focus on what we are grateful for way more than we're focusing on like what's going wrong in our life. Because anytime, whatever we focus on is what we get more of, right? So whenever I'm grateful and feeling the energy of gratitude and appreciation, like more good things just keep flowing into my life like crazy. And whenever I'm focused on my problems or struggles or things I'm worried about, I just keep getting more things to worry about and more stress and negativity in my life. So I noticed over the last few years I've gotten really good at like not telling any negative stories, because whatever story that you tell about yourself is what ultimately becomes your reality. And a lot of times we are telling these stories with a lot of passion and a lot of emotion tied behind them, and making like manifesting things that we don't want. So I kind of realized like I was telling these stories because I wanted empathy and compassion. When I was a little kid, if I went through a struggle or a hardship, or if I got sick, or if I fell and got hurt, I could go to my mom and she would feel like sorry for me. She would give me love and compassion and make things better for me. So I think on a subconscious level, I started thinking that's how I receive love, is I have to, if I'm going through a hard time, people will like feel bad for me and love me and want to help me out. But then I've kind of eliminated that over the last few years. You don't really hear me talking about my problems and struggles and hardships unless I'm talking about how I overcame them, or what I learned from them, or how they're a blessing in disguise. Because sometimes when you're going through a hard thing, it is like really important to get it out there and like not just bottle it up. You know what I mean? You got to deal with your emotions, or else they keep coming back. So, or they just bottle up and get even worse. So you do want to let them out, but it doesn't mean I'm gonna go vent like all my hardships and negativity on everybody I see and tell them how hard my life is and all the struggles that I'm going through, because that's just creating more of what I don't want. So we really need to be more conscious of our conversations, have more intention with our conversations. Try to be more conscious this next week about how you're talking, how you're posting things on social media. Like if you scroll through my social media feeds on all platforms over the last couple of years, I think you'll be pretty hard pressed to find any time where I've been complaining, blaming others, acting like a victim or whatever. You might hear me talking about struggles and hardships, but it's almost always about how I overcame them, how I rose above them, or how like you're not alone if you're going through something like this too, because I went through it and look at me now, like that kind of stuff. That's totally healthy and fine. But if we're just, I was listening to this homie talk the other day, and it's like the first thing he was telling everyone that he saw is how his fucking car broke down and it's gonna cost him all this money and he's kind of screwed, probably gonna have to sell his car and blah blah blah, you know what I mean? And it was like, that used to be me 100%. And I'm not judging that person in any way. Like I'm just kind of observing it, like saying, oh shit, that was me, and that's why shit kept getting worse and worse for me for a while. And now I don't really talk like that. I only tell empowering stories. If you ask me how my music's going, it's better than ever. Like my fan base is blowing up, it's thriving. You ask me how my health is, I'm the healthiest I've ever been. Oh my God, I feel amazing. I tell these positive, empowering stories, and that creates my reality, speaking things into existence. 444, and I'm not perfect at it, and I'm not judging anyone, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, wanting to remind you guys that whatever we're focusing on and talking about is what we are attracting more of and bringing into our experience. So be more mindful about how you conversate, how you post things online. If you're about to make a post about this hard thing that happened to you because you really want to vent it out, maybe just write it in a journal and fucking rip up the paper and throw it away or something, rather than like pushing the toxic energy online, because then other people are going to perceive you that way, and then the collective consciousness is believing that you're this type of person, and you're believing you're this type of person, and then you're just creating more of that energy. One of my favorite quotes is, if you argue for your limitations, you get to keep them. And it's so true. Whenever we talk about things that are holding us back or limiting us or anything like that, they become ours. They become our reality even stronger. So we gotta just be so mindful about how we're speaking to one another and how we're conversating. And I'm not saying to just pretend like everything's sunshine and rainbows, and when you're going through a really hard time, like, if your mom just died or something, like, yeah, you should be fucking sad. You know what I mean? I was hella sad when my mom died. I still am sad about it a lot of times. So it's one of those things where I'm not going to sit there and tell a story about how shitty my life is now that my mom died. I'm telling the story about, yes, that was hard, heartbreaking. Yes, it's still hard and sad, but I'm becoming stronger from it. I'm rising above it. It's helping me grow as a human. It's deepening my spiritual connection. That's the only kind of light that I'll talk about that in. And it's just transformed my whole life. I feel more empowered. I feel healthier and happier than ever. And good things just keep coming into my experience. More blessings, more opportunities, more prosperity, more health, more friendship, more good vibes, because I'm constantly focused on what I'm grateful for. I'm constantly talking about how well things are going, or what I'm excited about, or blessings that I received. It's so easy for our brain is actually wired for survival. It's not wired for happiness, and that's something that's very important to keep in mind, so you can observe your thoughts and not be controlled by them, not let these kind of crazy thoughts run our show, but actually just sit back and, oh, okay, my brain is scanning my environment for anything that could hurt me or bring me down, because it's trying to survive. It's on this fight or flight survival mode. So I just observe that and go, okay, my brain's doing its job. I appreciate you focusing on that shit, but I want to be happy right now, so I'm going to focus on this shit. I'm going to focus on all these blessings I have. I'm going to focus on how grateful I am that I got fresh clothes to wear. I'm going to focus on how grateful I am that I have eyes to see, ears to hear, a voice to speak, people that I can help empower, fingers, hands, toes, like oxygen to breathe, water to drink. Like, there's so many blessings that we're taking for granted in any moment. So if we just become more cognizant of what we're focusing on and what we're talking about, our experience will get so much better. It will get so much better when we're just focused on the energy of appreciation and gratitude. I go around my house a few times a day, especially if I'm feeling down, and I do what Abraham Hicks calls an appreciation rampage, where you're just looking at everything you can appreciate. I appreciate this painting. I appreciate this electricity. I appreciate these light switches. I appreciate these windows. I appreciate the phone that's filming this video. I appreciate anyone that might be watching this right now. I appreciate my teeth, my ears, my hair. It's like you just go on this rampage of all these things you appreciate. And after a few minutes into that, it's kind of hard to feel negative, because you're just like, holy shit, I'm so blessed. There's so many beautiful things that I was just taking for granted, and I don't know why I was focusing on that little problem, because it's actually a blessing in disguise, and I don't know why I'm like so caught up in this thing. I'm going to be able to get through it, even though it's hard right now, and I don't know how I'm going to get through it. I know I am going to get through it, and if I just focus on the gratitude and the appreciation, that energy is going to help me get through it. But if I focus on like the problems and how hard this is, or how bad this sucks, or how bad I'm screwed over right now, or whatever, it's just, I'm going to be like crippled by that negative energy, and I'm not even going to be able to take the right action to get myself out of that situation. You focus on your blessings, you receive more blessings. Whatever we focus on, we bring in, you know what I mean? And I'm not telling you guys like a bunch of new stuff that you've never heard before. It's just like helpful to have these reminders, you know what I mean? I need these reminders constantly to keep my mindset on point and keep my, caveman lizard brain from going crazy. So I just want you to remember what you're talking about, what you're posting. I want every conversation you have this week to at least include gratitude and appreciation in that conversation. Again, I'm not saying just everything's sunshine and rainbows if your fucking family member just died, or it's important to feel the range of emotions and that contrast of life. And contrast is just actually a gift that helps us become more aware of what we would prefer and what we actually desire. So it's a beautiful thing. Struggles are always here to teach us a lesson. The universe doesn't give us anything that we can't handle. And man, it's just like, well, we always look back on these hard times and think, oh man, I'm actually glad that happened because it helped me do this, or I grew, or I became stronger, or whatever. So just remember to focus on what you're grateful for. Next time someone asks you how your job is going, or, you know, even if you hate your job, rather than saying, oh man, it fucking sucks, or I gotta go to work tomorrow, I hate this thing, you know what? Find one thing about your job that you like. Because I've worked a lot of jobs and I've hated all of them. I've worked at Overstock.com. I worked at 1-800-CONTACTS. I've worked at the zoo. I've worked at, you know, multiple restaurants. I've worked at the Delta Center, which is where the Utah Jazz play, or Energy Solutions Arena is what they call it now. I've worked at ski resorts. I've worked at hotels. I've been an Uber driver. What else have I done? I've been a cart boy at the grocery store. I've been a cashier at multiple places. I can't even remember. I've worked so many different places, which is funny because it's like that's all. I've probably worked like 50 different jobs all within like a 4-year period because I never like stayed at any of them for that long because it just wasn't for me, and my soul felt like I just couldn't take it, and I knew I was destined for something different. So, but every single job, even though I hated them all, every single one of them had at least 1 or 2 or 3 aspects that I could really appreciate, that I could be grateful for. So even if you do hate your job, just find that 1 or 2 thing. You know, maybe you really like this one homie that works with you, or maybe you really like the food that they have at your work, or you really like the breaks that you go on because you go sit by this cool grassy area. I don't know, like find a couple little things about your job that you appreciate, and when someone does ask you about your job or whatever, just talk about those things and don't even mention the things that you don't like, because whatever you appreciate appreciates, if that makes sense. Whatever you are thankful for goes up in value and accumulates more of. So just pick the few things that you are grateful for about that job and talk about those, and that's it. You know, if your health is not good, or maybe you're not doing well in this area, like find one thing about, you know, about yourself or your health, about that situation that you are grateful for, and just talk about that instead. So, you know, for me with music, like even if like I had the shittiest month of music, whatever, I could still like conversate about something positive and speak it into existence of like, hey Burnell, how's your music doing? Like, dude, it's actually going really good. I actually like feel like this creative energy is like really starting to come in, you know what I mean? Or and you could always talk, even if you are in a complete shitty situation where you really can't find anything positive about it, you can still talk about how it's changing for the positive. Like, hey man, you know, how's such and such going? Oh, you know, it's been a little rough, but it's finally starting to come together. You know, it's finally starting to work out for me, and I have a really good feeling about these next few months. Talk like that, and that's just a way more empowering mindset to have, and belief system to carry, because that just empowers you to attract more of what you do want, and your whole life will just get better when you really become more mindful about how you're speaking things. If you've seen I've got a couple other videos on like speaking things into existence and scripting, and it's just crazy. Self-talk is so important. So I'll put a link to some of those videos in the description below if you want to go check out my videos about affirmations or speaking things into existence. I think they'll help you too on a similar kind of vibe as today's episode. But I know it's nothing new to a lot of you guys, but it's just a good reminder that we all need from time to time to just focus on what we're grateful for. And even if we're going through a really hard time, let's just at least not reinfect that, or like re-poison ourselves with that negative emotion by like talking about it with a lot of passion, you know? So I hope that helps you. I love you guys. Peace and wonderful blessings. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please subscribe. We go every single day on this channel. Nothing but good vibes and, you know, positive intentions with pure love. So hit the notification bell so you get notified when when I drop new videos every day. And say what up, leave a comment so I can say hi. I've been making like so many dope new friends from around the world on this channel, and we really are building an international community of like-minded people that like to uplift and inspire and empower each other. And it's It's a good vibe. So I appreciate you guys. Love you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And I'll see you tomorrow on another episode of Creative Success.